I remember the day I became a weight loss success story. I was doing my usual routine of weighing myself in the family bathroom in secret after I'd gone to the bathroom and taken all of my clothes off so that the scale could be as low as possible when it read out that number. For years, I had lusted after this specific number in my mind, and I was always so dismayed when I stepped on the scale and I didn't see it. And I believed for so long that when I finally saw that number, it would mean that I had done it. That I had worked out hard enough, that I had eaten well enough, that I had finally made my body look the way it was supposed to look so that I could feel confident and so that other people would find me beautiful and attractive and worthy. And then that morning, I stepped on the scale and I saw that number. I remember peering over my chest, over my toes, to look at the scale and see what number it read out. And I couldn't believe my eyes when it was below the goal weight that I had had for so long. And I expected this feeling to wash over me, for me to finally feel confident, to finally feel secure around food, to finally feel sexy and beautiful and feel comfortable in my clothes and not be overthinking how my body looked and how my thighs looked when I sat down. And I felt nothing. I felt just as insecure as I had before. I felt so stressed that I still had to go eat breakfast after this because I felt completely out of control around food still. I had finally become a weight loss success story and I wasn't happy. I felt like I had fallen for the biggest scam of a lifetime. I felt so stupid. I felt like I'd wasted so much of my life and I felt completely lost because this is what I believed I had to do to finally feel the way I wanted to feel about my wellness in my body, and it didn't work, so I had no idea what I was supposed to do next. I had tried everything. I had tried every diet. And that was the moment I knew that I couldn't do it anymore. I had to find something else that worked instead. Something that didn't put me through this hell. Something that didn't make my worth conditional on what I looked like or how much I ate today. And it was a challenging journey. It was challenging every day at first. But I did it. I'm Sarah, I'm a certified health coach, and for the last 3 years I've helped other women do exactly this. To release stranglehold that bad body image has on you and take back the time and energy that it's stolen from you over the years. I help my clients have that body confidence that they've been looking for, have a stable, nutritious, satisfying relationship with food, and find consistent movement practices that they actually enjoy and can maintain over time so that they can have their strongest physical body too. But before I was what I am today, before I got to that moment where I stepped on the scale and I felt that utter defeat, I went through a lot in my own experience, and that's the story that I want to tell today. Because I know that there are so many women out there that are exactly where I used to be at that point where you feel like you've tried everything and you just want to give up and feel good in your body and good around food. I know how hopeless that can feel, and I know the steps to get you from where you are to where you want to be. My body image issues don't start when I was a grown-up. They go way back into my childhood when I was put on my first diet when I was 8 years old because I was getting too big in my parents' eyes. When girls in elementary school would make fun of my belly, or my nose, or when I hit middle school and I was the only girl with boobs. They came from teasing and taunting about my makeup and how I did my hair when I was just 12 years old, and from not having the cool kid clothes that everybody else had at my school that my family couldn't afford. This isn't an uncommon experience. Our body image issues start when we are so young and they build over time, which is why it takes a lot of conscious unlearning in adulthood to release them. Fast forward to high school and middle school, I was so self-conscious about what I looked like every time I sat down, so afraid of how my thighs would lay, how my stomach would look from the side, always trying to suck in and maintain this perfect posture so that I looked small enough and perfect enough to other people. I was so in my head about what I ate in front of other people too, because I was afraid that if I ordered anything unhealthy, they would think to themselves, oh, that's why she looks like that. That's why she has the body that she has, and judge how I took care of myself or how I cared about myself. I was always a really average athlete as a kid and in high school. I loved sports, but I was never the star varsity player. And no matter how many sports I did, how much I exercised as a kid and in high school and in college, I was never as small as any of my other friends. I wasn't visibly fit or toned or strong. I was just me. And I felt like that was never good enough. When I was in college, I was in a sorority and we had a buffet that you could eat at for dinner every night, and I always wanted seconds, but nobody else around me was allowing themselves to get a second plate, and I always felt so self-conscious of my appetite. I never felt as pretty as the other girls, and I wanted to bring these cute dates to my functions, but I felt like no guy would want to go with me. I was always overcompensating by trying to be extra funny or extra available or extra helpful to other people, and it sacrificed so much of my own energy and time. And as a result of these snowballing insecurities that were just building on each other over time, I ended up in a really dark place towards the end of my college years. What started in the beginning of college of me just trying to be healthier now that I was living on my own had spiraled into a full-blown eating disorder fueled by the need for other people to find me attractive and think I was good enough based on what I looked like. I was obsessively calorie counting down to the single bite. I was planning all of my meals for the week on Sunday night, trying to eat cheap and quick and perfect all at the same time. There were so many food rules that inhibited me from eating out with friends, going fun new places, going out for margaritas and tacos, all of these fun things I missed out on or had to sit at the table and have an empty plate while all of my friends enjoyed themselves. I was taking spin classes and Zumba and yoga and whatever else my gym offered in college because I just felt like I had to do everything I could to make myself smaller. My senior year, I was even skipping classes to prioritize going to the gym classes over my academic courses. And I didn't see a problem with it. I didn't realize how much time I spent thinking about my body and food and movement, to the point that I would walk out of a college class and not remember anything that the teacher had said because I was just planning my meals the whole time. I was constantly checking to make sure that I wasn't gaining weight, but any natural fluctuation in my weight made me have a breakdown. Getting dressed was a nightmare because I didn't like anything on me, and my closet was a war zone with clothing everywhere because I had tried on 50 different outfits just to try and go out with my friends that night. My body obsession had become such a part of my normal day that I didn't even realize that every time I walked in the bathroom or got out of the shower, I would automatically stop and pose and try to look as small as possible. It preoccupied every part of my existence, and it had become like this toxic partner that was always following me around and never letting me just be myself. On top of all of this, it impacted my relationships on such a deep level that I didn't even understand at the time. Because I was so anxious about what I looked like and if I was good enough and what I was eating and what other people were thinking of me, I was constantly overthinking my relationships with men, with my friends, with my family, with teachers, with everybody that I interacted with. So afraid that they were judging me. The food anxiety and feeling that need to control everything I ate perfectly flowed out into all these other areas of my life, my academics, my career, my friendships, and it wasn't fair to the people that had to interact with me every day because I was a mess. I could feel it putting space between me and my best friends, me and guys I was interested in and wanted to get to know, and I just couldn't stop it. I was handling it with temporary solutions like calorie counting and food restriction and going to the gym, and I wasn't healing these insecurities I had on a deeper level, so nothing was actually getting better. It was just getting more and more obsessive. Everything changed when I all of a sudden got pulled out of college for COVID. I went from a large southern school where I felt like I didn't fit the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, tiny girl, sorority girl beauty standard back to my hometown in the Northeast living with my parents. That change in my environment that was so sudden and so drastic is what made me realize that I had been so deep in a hole that I could not pull myself out of on my own. I didn't realize how normal it had become for me to have all of these disordered behaviors, these consuming thoughts, for all these conversations with other people about my body and weight loss and going to the gym, and nothing beyond that. But then COVID happened, and I went home and I finished my senior year online, and I realized how exhausted I was. The gyms were closed, so I couldn't go. Grocery shopping every day for the perfect ingredients for my perfect dinner meal wasn't possible because we weren't leaving the house. And I was no longer all on my own able to maintain these habits because I had two people that loved me very much in the house with me at all times. And as soon as I couldn't maintain that full speed ahead obsessive behaviors that I had had before, I was depleted. I finally got to that moment where I stepped on the scale in my parents' bathroom and I saw that goal weight I had been lusting after, and I didn't finally feel better like I always hoped I would. I felt like I had been scammed, I felt exhausted, I felt like I had to find something else that wasn't going to always keep me on this hamster wheel of never feeling like I'm doing enough. And that's when I realized that I had to find a long-term solution that didn't make me feel this bad about myself, something that actually worked and allowed me to maintain my wellness and feel good about my body. It was a really confusing, conflicting time, and I was so afraid because I was afraid to gain weight. I was afraid to stop giving myself rules with what I could and couldn't eat. I was afraid to give myself permission to have rest days from working out. I was afraid to allow myself to honor cravings and honor my hunger. For a while, I was trying intuitive eating and dieting for weight loss at the same time, and it was just so conflicting and wouldn't work, and I didn't understand why. But the reason for that is because intuitive eating is not designed to be for weight loss. It's the opposite of a diet. So I felt this push and pull for a really long time of trying to be an intuitive eater while also wanting to lose weight. And I eventually realized that one of these was sustainable and it wasn't the weight loss. That's what I had done for so long. I slowly gave myself more and more permission to embrace intuitive eating, to start to question a lot of what I believed about health and wellness, and that's when things started to change for me. It was also the catalyst for me starting to see that other moments that I had thought were normal were not normal or healthy. Like yelling at my mom because she had just come back from grocery shopping, walked in the door with all these bags on her arms, all these food items that she had paid for me and my family. So many fruits and veggies and healthy, whole, nutrient-dense ingredients, but she had bought one bag of potato chips, and I was so angry at her because she should have known that we can't have these in the house or I'll binge on them. She should know I can't control myself around foods like this. Little did I realize at the time that I was the problem. Another moment that really stood out to me was that my dad is an amazing cook and he shows his love with food. And for so long, when he had offered me just a little spoonful of a curry he had made or something delicious he had made with fresh ingredients from the garden, I wouldn't try it because I didn't know how many calories were in that single spoonful. And seeing the look in his eyes of just disappointment, feeling the space grow between us in a time when he was trying to be closer, I finally saw that these mindsets were hurting not just me, but other people in my life too. So let's talk about how I got better. How I got to this place I'm at now where I feel completely comfortable around food. I don't feel a need to track calories. I've gained weight but also reached a stable weight, and I'm really content with what my body looks like because I know I'm so much more than that. I'm someone that exercises on a daily basis because I want to, and it comes from a place of self-love, both for my mental health and for my body, not out of punishment for how I look or what I ate. I have really strong mental health and mental health practices that maintain that, and I feel really confident with who I am outside of my body as well. But it's been a road to get there, so we need to discuss exactly how I did that, because you can do it too. One of the biggest realizations I had is that health is not a one-size-fits-all approach. What works for somebody else, what everybody else says that's working for them, might not be what works for you, and that's perfectly okay. I used to force myself to do spin classes because I thought that was the best way to burn fat. I hate spin classes. It's not healthy for me to do spin classes if I'm miserable and if it makes me hate moving my body. Something that's healthier for me is yoga or running or walking or Pilates or anything else that I enjoy genuinely over forcing myself to do something higher intensity that I hate. The same with food. There are certain foods that are going to make you feel energized, that are going to make you feel sluggish, but those aren't going to be the same for everyone. There's going to be certain foods that you love and that you hate, that make your gut feel good and your gut feel bad, that make you break out or make you glow, and that's perfectly okay, but you can't listen to what everybody else is doing. You have to figure that out for yourself and trust it. And with that comes the realization that not every body is going to look the same when it is well taken care of. When I am taking the best care of my mental and physical health, I still have a stomach, I still have a belly. I have never had a flat stomach in a healthy place in my life, and that's okay. This is just where my body wants to be when I'm taking really amazing care of it. But that was really hard to unlearn for a long time, and having support through that process is what made me successful. I also had to unlearn a lot of beauty standards and body trends that were always changing right as I was about to catch up to them. I I had to stop scrolling social media every time I wanted fitness inspo and stop consuming content that was always geared towards the outcome of losing weight. I had to find positive role models in my life. I had to find people that understood where I had been, where I was trying to go. And with time, I was able to stop obsessively tracking everything I was eating or feeling guilty every time I had a less nutrient-dense meal. I got in touch with my cravings again, with my hunger, and I started getting back the social life and the ease and the comfort and the memories and the relationship that come along with bonding with others over food. I put an end to the thoughts that were telling me that I wasn't small or pretty or good enough. And I realigned my relationship with exercise so that it could be healthy for me physically and mentally. It had to define what healthy means to me, even if that meant rejecting what other people were doing. Beyond just stopping the behaviors, there is a lot of inner work that needs to be done, so it's not as easy as it might seem sometimes. But there absolutely are resources that can help you get there, including me. I've become a body image and food freedom coach for this exact reason, to guide other women to get to the point that I'm at now. If this is something that you've been wanting to do in your life, then you can send me a DM on Instagram. I'll make sure that all of my information is in the caption of this video and at the end. But I help women that are motivated to make a change and finally put an end to all of these negative thoughts and these obsessive behaviors and find your strongest body image and wellness yet. As I was healing this part of myself, I started sharing on social media about the experiences I was having because it felt like everything I was learning about how bullshit the diet industry is, how weight loss doesn't make you confident in your body, I had to share with somebody else. Through that process, I found out that so many people had reached the same point as me, but they felt like they were all alone in that feeling of stuckness and scams and not knowing what to do next. Sharing my small wins every day became an inspiration to other people, and I was so inspired by watching others do similar things to me. I realized that I had a passion to create community around this healing and to spread this message that dieting won't make you happy, but body image and self-acceptance can. It felt like something I just had to do, because so many of us feel like there's no other way, or that we're the problem and that's why we can't maintain these outrageous habits over time. I also opened up so many conversations with friends and family who were people that I loved that still struggled to see their own beauty, to feel secure around food, to feel like they could just trust themselves to take good care of themselves without overthinking. I talked to my mom who has a fear of gaining weight. I talked to my best friends who are always worried that they look bloated in their clothes. I talked to coworkers who are having bad body image days, and strangers who are obsessing over what they're going to eat tonight while we were at the grocery store in the same aisle. I talked to women in the locker room at the gym, the cashier at Trader Joe's, my grandma, old friends from college. So many of us had had the same struggles, and talking about it made us all realize that it didn't have to be this way. Not long after I finished college, I went for my health coaching certification, and I started this online business that I have where I help women from all over the world, one-on-one and in my group programs, find stronger body image and find realistic, sustainable health habits that honor both their body and their mind. And through my client work, I've seen that it doesn't matter what you look like or what you weigh, we can all be affected by body image issues, and we can all need this inner healing work. I also see that it's not your fault that you're struggling with this. The society that we live in, this diet culture we live in, is so insidious, and it convinces us from such a young age that our bodies are the problem. But you're not alone in this process, and it's absolutely something that we can figure out together. In the beginning, just take one small step at a time and let that be enough. Focus on moving forward, even if it's at a slower pace than you'd like. And if you do want to make it faster and easier for you, ask for help. The beauty of working with someone like me is that you don't have to lust after these solutions for long-term confidence. I've already done the work to find them all for you. And if you don't feel greater confidence in our work together, I will do two things for you. I will give you your money back, and I will work with you until you do, because I want everybody else to have the life-changing experiences that I have had. I'm confident I can deliver on that promise, and if that seems fair to you, you need to send me a message on Instagram now. Because of this work, my entire life is different. I'm not body checking when I look in the mirror. I don't get stressed out getting dressed anymore, and shopping is not the hell that it used to be. I don't compare myself to my friends, and I don't feel like I'm always bigger than them. I'm not afraid for my weight to change, and I know that if days where I struggle with my body image come, that I have the tools to strongly work through those moments. I have a normal relationship with food, and I never thought that being so average would make me so excited. But I don't overthink everything I eat. I don't have to track every calorie or freak out if MyFitnessPal doesn't have the food I'm eating in its log. I don't compare what I'm eating to my friends or worry that they're going to judge me if I order a pizza when we eat out. I am just there at dinner with them, making memories. I can eat the food that my dad cooked for me and trust my mom to grocery shop for me when I'm visiting her at home. When I move my body, it's because I want to take care of it and also take care of my mental health. I want to feel strong and capable and challenged. I do movement that I genuinely enjoy, everything from learning to surf this year to doing Pilates to keep my small muscles toned. And it's never a punishment for how much I ate or what I weigh. My relationships are strong too. I have the strongest relationship with my mother that I ever have, with my father as well, with men, with friends. I have the most amazing friends, and it is so refreshing. I feel confident that they love me and that I show them good love, and I feel so secure in those relationships, fully showing up as myself. And I have the life of my dreams. I have become my own dream girl. I live in Indonesia in a beautiful place, helping other women to find their dream lives every single day. And I don't see any of my food choices or health habits as all or nothing, good or bad. I just trust myself to take care of myself over the course of my lifetime instead of overanalyzing every little decision. If you're still watching this video and realizing what your life could look like if you were able to make these changes too, it's time for you to send me a message. 5 years ago, I never would have believed that any of this was possible for me to feel this confident and comfortable in my body without needing to change what I look like, to have this much trust in how I take care of this body without needing to track everything or be so obsessive. If you're ready to take action and start prioritizing yourself, send me a DM on Instagram with the word action, and we'll chat directly about how we're going to make this happen for you too. And like I said before, you don't have to take the time or spend the energy trying to find these perfect solutions. I already have them for you. In our weekly calls, in the workbook that I give all of my clients, in the one-on-one messaging support that you get with me, where you can literally text me every day in every moment that you need support or a question answered. And if we are not able to make you feel more confident in your body, in yourself, and how you care for yourself, I will give you that money back and I will work with you until you do. If that sounds fair to you, send me a message with that word action now and tell me why you want to make a change in your life. If you're not eager to take action, this isn't for you. The women that I work with are extremely motivated, and that's what makes them accomplish so much in our work together. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to my story and envisioning how you can make these changes in your life too. You are not alone in this struggle, and there is so much hope out there for you to make a change. Mwah.